Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February 20th City Council meeting. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Santi.
Here.
Alderman Glass.
Here.
Alderman McClatchy.
Here.
Alderwoman Bassey. Here. Alderman Schrack.
Yes.
Alderman Cook absent. Alderwoman Miller.
Present.
Thank you. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we'll open for public comment. This for items that are not on the agenda this evening. We have Lupe Ortiz. If you could please come up to the podium. And if you could press that center button. Right, there you go.
Okay, red me on, yes. Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Lupe Ortiz. For those that don't know me, I'm the Executive Director to Youth and Family Center of McHenry County. This organization's office is on 1011 North Green Street. If you have not visited our new building, I invite all of you to visit our new facility that we just got. But what I'm here this morning is I want to make you aware of an important referendum on March 19th that will affect mental health services in McHenry County. On March 19th, voters will have the opportunity to help organizations keep pace of the increasing demand of mental health services by replacing mental health portion of the property tax with a 0.5% increase on sales tax. Except items will include groceries, medicine, and medical supplies. This change in the funding mechanism will help individuals and families in our county better access mental health services and help stabilize that funding. By voting yes to the mental health, approximately $10.8 million will be removed from property tax roll and will begin on the sales tax roll. This increase in sales tax amounts to 25 cents per $100 spent. Sales tax is levied on any goods purchased in our county and will allow us to recoup dollars from visitors who come here to purchase goods and supplies. While I know you cannot officially advocate one way or another for this referendum, I'm asking each of you to use your conservative networks and contacts to support this bipartisan effort that came about from County Board. Several organizations in our county have passed resolutions encouraging support. Please encourage those you know to turn out this important referendum, and please consider your own vote as well. Thank you. Say yes to mental health.
Thank you, Lupe. Next person is Tim Beck. Please state your name and address for public record.
Okay, my name's Tim Beck, and I live at 4424 Wood Road. I've been a long-time resident of McHenry, starting when my wife and I built our house in 2003. As some of you know, I'm here this evening to petition the City Council to grant a permit for a fireworks display on Saturday evening, May 4th. This would be at the conclusion of a celebration of life event for my wife who passed away on January 23rd. I've talked to several members of the city administration about this personal request, which I'm making on behalf of my family members and my neighbors on Lakewood Road. As many of you know, because of where we live, we have a front row seat for all the fireworks shows that the city puts on. And for every year that we've owned our property, our extended family's annual reunion and holiday party was always on the day of the 4th of July fireworks show. So my daughter and I decided that because it was late in January, because my siblings live in Iowa, and many of our nieces and nephews live in various states throughout the country, we should have the celebration of life event once the weather turned nice and people would have time to make travel arrangements. And the day after passing, the suggestion was made because fireworks show always a big part of our annual holiday party. It'd be a nice tribute to my wife to conclude the celebration with a 5-minute fireworks show at the end of the evening. So I've read the city's fireworks permit and know that the first line on the application asks for the name of the sponsoring organization. And I understand that the permit for private showing has never been issued by the city, and that there's some level of concern about possibly setting some type of precedent. So in light of those concerns, this past weekend, I made a phone call to each of the other 25 households in our subdivision, and I received a 100% positive response from all my neighbors who said it would be a good thing to list the Lakewood Road Homeowners Association as a sponsoring organization. So I did bring a list of all my neighbors that I talked to, and if it would be a requirement for me to attach a sign sheet to the application, I could do that. So again, my purpose here this evening is to request that the City Council approve a permit for a fireworks show on the evening of Saturday, May 4th. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Tim. I'll take that list if you want. And staff and I will be in. Yeah, and staff and I will be in touch with you. All right. We got his contact information, Bill. All right. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. And sorry for your loss. Anyone else for public comment? This is items that are not on the agenda this evening. See none? All right. Moving on to the presentation of Cycling Without Age. Carl?
Hello, how you doing? Everybody can see that? The deck? All right.
There we go.
Thanks for allowing me a few minutes to speak. And what I wanted to do, for those of you who aren't aware of what our organization is, it's a free service that we provide to older residents of McHenry County. And we've been doing this in McHenry for about 4 years now, and we're adding more locations. This, I thought, was just a great little starting point to talk about what we provide people in the county with, there's a beautiful locations, access to nature. Why is it such a good thing? It improves sleep, reduces stress, increases happiness, reduces negative emotions, promotes positive social interactions, and even helps generate a sense of meaning to life. So if you think about that, that's great stuff for any one of our residents, no matter what their age. But if we move on to the next slide, the idea here is we want to stop and focus on a particularly vulnerable part of our community throughout the county, throughout the city, and that is our older residents, especially those who live in assisted living communities, don't get out very much, especially over the past couple of years when we had COVID. It's amazing how when we went out to meet with people who live in these communities, how we were the only way that they got out into the outdoors, get out of their rooms in some cases for a couple of years. So we're out there trying to really help people connect with them, connect with nature, to help them, in any way that they can continue to grow through, even with physical and mental challenges of aging. So we move on to the next slide. All right, what I want to do is just take a second to talk about what the organization is and where it came from. So this guy, Ole Kassow, is the founder of Cycling Without Age. He's from Copenhagen. And in 2012, he was walking down the street, saw this elderly gentleman sitting on a park bench. And anybody thinks about Denmark, everybody rides bicycles everywhere in Denmark. And he thought, what must it be like for somebody who has probably ridden bikes their whole lives to now, sitting on a park bench and not have that ability? So he actually went to a bike rental place and rented this vehicle that we see on the right here, and brought it to an assisted living facility and offered to give rides to residents. They liked it so much, and he just did this on a lark. They asked him to come back, and he has turned it into an international organization. We switch to the next slide. That as of a year ago was active in 39 countries with over 3,000 chapters, 4,900 trishaws. I'll show you what that is in a second so you know what I'm talking about. And 39,000 trained pilots giving over 3 million rides. So there are these chapters that have grown up over the years since 2012 all over the world. And if we move to the next slide, in 2019, Greg Glover, who lives in Crystal Lake, had just retired, and he was looking for something to do, some way to give back to the community. He kind of stumbled across Cycling Without Age, and so he started up a chapter in McHenry County. So the whole idea is that we are providing this service to elderly residents throughout the county. So for his first year was really spent just raising money to buy the first of our trishaws, our vehicles. Move on. We now have 45 people who are regularly volunteering their time. There are no paid members of the organization. It's all volunteers doing the administrative work, doing piloting, navigating. I'll explain both of those in a second. And just generally getting out in the communities and taking these people out for rides. So this is just part of our group. So last year we gave 1,146 rides to residents across the county. If you see the little stars, those are different locations where we have partnerships set up. We have 14 different assisted living communities where we give rides. We show up Mondays through Thursdays generally. We have prearranged times. We show up with a trishaw. People are there to go out for rides, and we take them on 15, 20-minute bike rides around their community. We also do trail rides on the Prairie Trail and other Conservation District properties. We've had great partnerships with the Conservation District, the Crystal Lake Park District, to allow us locations to store the trishaws, and one of our assisted living facilities also does the same. So this is a trishaw. They're made in Europe. The back half looks just like a bicycle. The front has a bench seat. So if you think about, the bicycle cabs in the city of Chicago, we flipped it around. So instead of having the passengers on the back, we put them on the front so they have an unobstructed view of nature. And like I said, we show up with this. Generally, we'll have people who will tell them we're taking a bike ride, and they'll say, I can't ride a bike, or I haven't ridden a bike in 40 years. We show them what it is, we take them out for a ride, and they have a great time. My favorite story probably is showed up to give a ride to a couple. The wife was a resident of assisted living community. She was completely stone-faced. I don't know if she had Parkinson's, if she was suffering from early onset dementia. She seemed way too young to be afflicted with whatever she had. That wasn't the important thing. The important thing was that after we took a couple for the ride, she came back with this huge grin on her face, and the people in the facility said they had never seen her smile before. So it's actually life-changing for some of the rides that we give. Okay, next one. So I just want to flip through some slides. Briefly, we have routes that we set around the neighborhoods of the different facilities. So you can move on. There are several that we have in McHenry. So the one on the left is Riverside residents right off the river. The one on the right is Heritage Woods off of Crystal Lake Road. So we create the routes in advance so the riders know where we're going, and they take folks out for the rides. We'll actually be resuming some rides along the Prairie Trail from Peterson Park. We had done them in the past. We stopped last year. We're starting them up again this year. We're adding Cedarhurst of McHenry on Blake Boulevard this year as another assisted living community. And we'll also be doing rides in Moraine Hills State Park with rides starting at the dam. So the rides that we do on weekends on the trails, generally people from the community who don't live in assisted living facilities who sign up in advance for rides. So move on to the next one. So this is a picture actually off of the Prairie Trail right by from Peterson Park. You'll see that we've got somebody who is piloting. That's the person who's riding the trishaw, the pilot. And then we always have a second person along on a separate bicycle. We call them the navigator. They're there in case we have mechanical problems, there's an issue that we run into. They help stop traffic at the intersections and just generally help out with watching out for our passengers. Next slide. So as I said, the Saturday trail rides will sign up generally through the McHenry County Conservation District or with the Crystal Lake Park District. Next one. And we'll just show just a few more slides. This is just folks out for rides. If we keep going along the trail, everybody's having a good time. We have many situations where there's, it's multiple generations. So here we had a woman who was out with it's actually her great-granddaughter, believe it or not. Her granddaughter brought her great-granddaughter along so that they could go for a ride together. We do that quite a bit. Next one. Just more family members who signed up to bring their mothers in these cases. This actually is my mother, who is 95, went for a ride from Peterson Park, and she's actually now living in an assisted living community in Lake in the Hills. So she is a very frequent rider at the age of 95. But next slide, it actually generates all kinds of conversations about past rides. This is my mother from a long time ago, and she started talking about some bike trip we went on in Pekin when she was much younger, obviously. We do this starting in late April. The weather permits, so you see that we get people bundled up, and we'll go through October when the weather starts to get cooler. So my favorite my favorite pair of riders, having a great time. We were just joking about the fact that when you hit a hill, you need to throw up your arms and do roller coaster hands, and he thought we'd do it no matter what small hill we were on, but it was kind of fun. But the whole idea behind this is to provide people, again, with the right to wind in their hair. So that's really all I wanted to present today. But if you see us out, you'll recognize the Trishaws. You'll see us in downtown McHenry. You'll see us around a lot of different places. So thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate that. All right, the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Any items that the council would like to hold for separate consideration? Alderman Glab.
Yeah, I'd like to pull B and C. And a question on E, as far as the minutes of the meeting, that I know I talked to Monty today. Did we get the correction on the vote for the ComEd? It was showing as an abstain. I didn't abstain. I did a pass. I was not ready to vote.
I actually just went with the option that we had there, which was abstain, so I didn't know that I was going to pass on that, so
Okay.
you'll get that changed.
All right.
I didn't know that was something I could do actually.
So,
Thought you would abstain from the vote, so that's actually what I chose.
okay. So you will have that changed then on record.
If
Yep.
that's allowed, then I would pass.
Okay. That's all I've got then on that. I don't think we need to pull it as long as that's been.
We'll make sure we take care of that. Alderman Bassey.
I do want to pull E. I too just have a correction though.
Okay. All right. That's it. I'm looking for a motion to approve 6A, D, F, and G. Alderman Strag. So moved. And Alderman Santee for second.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Discussion on these items? Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Strack?
Yes.
Alderman Santee?
Yes.
Alderman Glab?
Yes.
Alderman McClatchy?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bassey?
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller?
Yes.
Thank you, Council. Item pulled by Alderman Glab with 6B is allowed the closure of Main Street from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on June 20, 2024 to allow open container alcohol and consumption from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the defined area, and to waive fees to the event organizers for the 2024 Taste of McHenry on Main event. Go ahead, Alderman Glab, the floor is yours.
Yeah, my concern more than anything else is we've done this in the past and it hasn't been a problem. As long as we kept the Walgreens exit open, I cannot take and endorse in any way close that off. For one entity that could bring a booth to the east of that driveway for all those hours from 11 to 5, probably the busiest time of the day on a Saturday for Walgreens with their drive-through pickup for prescriptions, which means that every person that goes through that driveway or drive-through has to go up to the back of the building, turn around, and come back up front and all the way around to get out, rather than the way we originally designed it when we built that, had them build that building, and that was to go out to Main Street and out. And we seem to have been able to work that well. I understand that the Main Street train station would like to get involved in it. There's no reason why they couldn't bring a booth further east and be represented. But I can't see taking and bringing all those people and making them make all these additional moves. You could have one person out there trying to make a circle around in the back of the building, and the next person come through, and just creates a real mess back there, I think, or the possibilities of. And again, it might be a slow day. There might hardly be anybody going through the drive-through, but usually on a Saturday, it's pretty busy over there between 11 and 5. So that's my feeling on it, and that's why I will not be voting yes for it.
Director Hobson?
Yeah, this is an issue that's come up in the past, and we've certainly had this conversation before. This is brought before you in the form that it is at the request of the petitioners. They've done a nice job of having a collective voice in this event and gain momentum for this extension. That's why it's before you in the form that it is. I will add that I did stop in and meet with the manager of Walgreens. Her biggest request is that we assist with signage and keep them informed. I will point blank tell you that she said this is, it's not something that I'm going to say yes, go ahead and do, because number one, I don't have that power. That would go to our corporate, and in all likelihood, they as well would not be real excited about closing one of their entrances. Her comment to me was, all we ask is that you keep us informed and help us sign it and help us signage where you can. So I just want to make council aware that we did make contact as a staff with their management team and have at least do our best to work it through with them.
Thanks, Bill. Alderman McClatchy?
Thank you, Mayor. I think you answered some of my questions. This came up last year. What did we do to solve that problem?
Last year, we stopped it before the Walgreens drive-through. There was a less participation last year, particularly with Main Street did not participate last year, and so the event was contained basically up to the western terminus was actually the Main Street or the Main Street parking lot. It was a much smaller event, so people could utilize the parking. They could pull and utilize the parking, so the driveway remained open for the entirety of the event.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments regarding this item? Alderman Miller?
The first year they did this, didn't we create a lane out of cones, Walgreens, to accommodate their drive?
We did do that, yes.
Okay. And was that something we've reconsidered, or that was a...
I think it's the best, like if we're trying to have a street fair and a street closure, which is their desire, especially with 10 food trucks, that's going to take up much more space. When we can minimize the engagement of potential cars and pedestrians, in staff's recommendation, I think Chief would echo that same sentiment, that let's try to minimize that. We do this for, Fiesta Days Parade, where we close that. We don't ask for their permission that day. We just close that entrance. It is a Sunday. It's probably an hour less by the time we close that for the duration of the day. But that's, again, it's before you be at their request, and I don't think we would be totally in favor of trying to create that turn lane once again.
So during Fiesta Days, when we close the street, people still use the drive-through, and then they come out of the drive-through and just make a real hard right and go back up to 120, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
They won't use the back driveway at all. There's enough room. I was there today, and I was driving a Dodge Durango, a mid-size SUV, was able to go through the drive-through and turn around, not have to do a three-point turn. There's a big enough space because of that's where they got their deliveries that you can circle and go back out to 120.
And I know I've done that in my vehicle when I've not wanted to make a left on Main and then a left on 31. But I know everybody's vehicle could do that. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? No? I'm looking for a motion to approve 6B as presented. Alderman Santee?
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda item B as presented, 6B as presented.
Thank you. Second, Alderwoman Miller.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Sandy,
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller,
Yes.
Alderman Schrock,
Yes.
Alderwoman Massey.
Yes.
Alderman McClatchy.
Yes.
Alderman Glab.
No.
Thank you, Council. Good luck. If you need anything, let us know. All right, next item on the agenda is 6C, is authorize the execution of the following farm lease agreements, CA through E. Alderman Glab pulled this. Go ahead, the floor is yours.
Yeah, basically, it's just about the lease agreements. I have no problems with leasing these properties out. However, we've got, 3 or 4 of them that are butted up against subdivisions right next to the backyards in a lot of cases. One of them is right across the road, one of our residents that live on Lakewood. All I'm asking is I've seen in the past they have always been allowed to reap their crops till what, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night? Do we have some kind of a ordinance as far as how long that they can? Ross?
I'll jump in and just say that it's never,
right.
I've never received a single complaint about the farmers and the duration or the evening. And I'm not saying that Councilman hasn't. As a Parks Department of managing the lease, I have never received a single complaint about the hours of operation for the farmers.
Would you care to discuss the Levi property, the time that it's 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night, and you could hear that thing roaring like crazy with the spotlight that you could see through the trees across Boone Creek? And when I went down Dartmoor and went to the park, we had semis coming through the park. So don't say that there was never a problem or there was never a complaint. Yes, there was. I even called you up the next day and complained about it. All I'm asking is that we put a time limit and we add it into the agreements. That's all. That's all I ask is so that we're, let's face it, residents come home, and I'm not saying every one of these farmers are going to take and work till 9 or 10 o'clock at night, but residents come home, they want to enjoy their home. I mean, they don't want to have listening to some of this machinery going on that are roaring at 8, 9 o'clock at night. And I think we should limit it to whether it be 7 or 7:30 or 8 o'clock. The whole thing is depending on weather and everything else, that yes, they want to get their crops in, and in a lot of cases, they may not get somebody out there until later in the evening because of time restrictions or whatever, or who can come out. And the thing is there's no reason that the residents that live next to these places have to listen to those noises that late at night. That's my point. All I'm asking is that we put a drop-dead time as far as they have to be done with all machinery working out there. That's all I'm asking for.
Thank you. Alderman Miller.
So I would speak against the suggestion of a time frame. Having grown up on a farm, when crops are ready, crops come in. And often, and a few of these are hay. When you cut hay, you have a limited window to bale and get it off the ground, or it gets wet and gets moldy and gets icky. So I leave it up to the farmer's discretion on when they need to get their crops out and out of the field. And if that takes many late nights, which I've done in my lifestyle, you get it done. I think putting restriction on it puts the crop at jeopardy.
Okay, my question has nothing to do with what you two are talking about. So, Director Hobson, quickly, any of these farms organic? And if they are not organic, do you know if they are using any Monsanto/Roundup products?
They are not organic.
Okay.
and they use a product that's Mosaic. So it's a, I guess, a similar brand. It's not the Monsanto product. To my knowledge, they do not use any, in talking to two of the farmers, I was unable to get a hold of the third, but they don't use a Roundup type product. They use a phosphate and a potash mixed just for fertilizer, and not a
Not an
Roundup
herbicide.
weed killer herbicide.
Okay.
Correct.
And those are great because I've also done research too, and I'm very comfortable with the Mosaic. So
Okay.
thank you for finding that out.
Any other questions, comments regarding this item? I am looking for a motion to approve 6C as presented. Alderman Miller?
I'll make a motion to approve 6C as presented and enter into the lease agreement.
Alderman Bassi?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Miller?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bassi?
Yes.
Alderman Strack?
Yes.
Alderman McClatchy?
Yes.
Alderman Glab?
No.
Alderman Santee?
Yes.
Thank you, Council. Next item on the agenda, 6E, pulled by Alderwoman Bassi, February 5th, 2024 City Council meeting minutes. Before I turn the floor over to you, Brandy, do you want to go ahead and respond to the pass side?
Yeah, just for the purposes of passing there, if you pass on a vote, that means that you're not ready to vote and it comes back to you. If you
It never came back to me, and I wasn't ready to vote because we didn't have a contract to vote on that night. So that's what passed.
Okay. And then if it's something other than a pass and it doesn't come back to you, then that's an abstention. So like if you if you say you're present or abstain, then that's goes to the abstain column.
Okay, so she did that correctly then. But, I mean, it never went back, so.
There was no vote.
I'll have to research to see what no, if it's a pass and doesn't come back to him to vote, so then he didn't vote. I'll see what that means, but
Okay, so we just leave it around then.
yeah, we'll leave it for now.
All right.
I appreciate that. This has happened, so I wasn't sure what to do. Thank you.
Alderman Bassi, the floor is yours.
Okay, mine's just another real quick one. When Shodine was doing the presentation, I asked Dave if the garages were going to be underground. They're actually going to be street level, and the minutes have them as confirmed as being underground.
Okay.
So that's just the only change.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Alderman Bassi, you want to make a motion to approve 6E with that change?
Yes, I will. I'll
Thank
make
you.
that motion. Thank you.
Second, Alderman Santee.
I'll second the motion.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Bassi?
Yes.
Alderman Santee?
Yes.
Alderman Glab?
Yes.
Alderman McClatchy? Alderman Strack?
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller?
Yes.
Thank you, Council. Next on the agenda is a discussion item regarding 7A, is a 7 Brew Coffee conceptual presentation. Director Pawlowski.
Yeah, sorry, Mayor, I didn't let you know. They asked that this item be pulled tonight.
Oh, well, that makes tonight's meeting a lot less. Look at that. All right, so we're pulling that item. So 8A is a Class A liquor license to Fox on the Run at 3316 Pearl Street. Looking for a motion to approve Class A liquor license to Fox on the Run located at 3316 Pearl Street, and if approved, pass an ordinance amending Title 4, Chapter 2, Alcoholic Liquor, Section 6, limitation on number of licenses of City of McKinney Code. I'm looking for a motion. Alderman Strack?
So moved.
Thank you. Second, Alderman Glab?
Second.
Thank you. Not quite yet. Jessica is here and so eager to get up to the podium, so if you have questions. But is there any discussion by City Council? Alderman Glab, go ahead.
Yeah, I know there are quite a few liquor establishments in this area. However, I find this a very unique new concept for the city of McHenry, and I've seen it in other areas, and I think I'd be curious to know how this works out for them, and good luck if it gets passed.
Thank you. Alderman McClatchy?
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's a good concept. When I first saw it, it was like, wow, piano bar in McHenry. But then I started looking into it, and we've got 3 new restaurants, bars, open in the next 2 months within 800 feet of this property. I know parking is a big deal, and this is just going to hurt the businesses in that area. Now, flipping the coin here, this is a good business. It's not like we're going into an empty store and putting a business in there. The Tunyas have built the business over 16 years, and it does a lot for the community. It's an art painting and pottery shop. It caters to kids, people that needy. It does so much, and I hate to see this go this way. I mean, that area is saturated with bars right now, and to take something like this away from the city is just a shame. So I'm going to be voting no on that.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Alderman Strack?
So I hear Alderman McClatchy's concerns. I don't believe parking will be an issue with Pearl Street Park so close to it. I don't know what the concern is. And at the end of the day, I'm not sure what the building owner's plan is or what that personal situation is with them, but I don't think this council's opinion of a new business moving in should be based on a business that's already there. For whatever reason, this building is coming in front of us tonight to be voted on based on an application that's coming in. I don't know what the situation is with the other business. I'm not really here for that. I'm here to vote on what's in front of us tonight, and we have a building, someone who's looking to put a business into that location. So I'm not sure why we would let anything else come in play when that's what's in front of us this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, can I respond?
Sure. Go ahead.
Thanks. I totally agree with you. The property owner can do whatever they want with that property. I understand that. But the fact that the whole area is just desperate for parking, 3 businesses going to open up in the next 2 months, and now we're adding more parking issue to the situation. So that's my main point.
Thank you. Alderman Glab, go ahead.
Yeah, the issue isn't, it sounds to me, I mean, the issue with it's being brought forth is whether or not we approve another liquor license, not whether we approve a business. And if they were to be denied tonight, they're going to try and lease that property out. You'll have another business in there, and it may even be more impactful. And we may have anything to say about it. At least we know what type of a establishment this is. I'm a little bit familiar with 1 or 2 of these bars, this type of bar from areas when we used to do magazines, and they don't have huge amounts of traffic that come in there. You know, so like I say, I mean, you know, you could wind up with a coffee shop that goes in there that you'd have people in and out like crazy. I mean, it's a building there that's going to be filled with something, and we do have some control here. Again, the issue, I think, is just a liquor license, not whether or not we want to see a business go in that building or not. So that's my feeling on it.
Thank you. Any other? Alderman Miller?
Thank you, Mayor Jett. So I'm in support of the request, the agenda item. I agree with Alderman Struck that it's not our job to monitor a landlord's decision of who they want to rent to, but to support opportunities that come our way and expand the opportunities that we provide to our residents. I think we've done enough track studies over at Riverside Drive to know that we've provided ample parking. We made an acquisition, 2 years ago to provide additional parking. We've improved the parking at the other end of the street so that we can provide additional parking to the Riverwalk and to Miller Point. So I think we're doing our best effort on providing as much parking as possible. Pearl Street consumers tend to park around the park, and they tend to park the backside of, or I guess that'd be I'm always directional challenged when I think of buildings, the west side of Riverside, you know, back behind the Legion and back behind the bakery. That seems to be a popular, and I think we have 40 spots back there or 50 spots back there. So we have a lot of parking down there. But to my point, I think we should always support new opportunities. I don't know what happened to the Archeo's lease and that conversation. I know our email today were absolutely full of comments about the art studio, but we're not part of that conversation. If the art studio, and I'm a patron of the art studio, if things were well there, we wouldn't have this discussion. She would have extended her lease. So I'm in support of the application.
Any other comments, questions? Alderman Santee, go ahead.
Can Jessica come to the podium?
Yeah, Jessica.
For a couple of questions?
Can you just hit the center button?
Hi.
Hi. Excuse me. Jessica, okay, you're asking just for a liquor license, and I read nothing about gaming. There's no interest in
That is
gaming
correct.
at this
No.
time or whenever?
Nope. None.
None?
Nope.
Okay. Do you have any bar entertainment experience?
I do.
Okay. Could you explain a little bit?
Yeah,
expand on
I
that?
do.
Go ahead.
Right now, I'm in customer service. I've been in customer service for 10 years. Before that, I was a bartender and waitress
Okay.
at other establishments in McHenry. I've always worked in McHenry.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Your hours, you have tentative hours you're set right now, and those are?
There will be something similar along the lines of a couple of weekdays, like Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night, 4 to 10. And then Friday night, Saturday night, open a little bit longer to about midnight. We're really looking for like that pre-dinner, right after dinner crowd that's going to be coming in, walking around downtown, coming from bimbos and things like that.
And I was trying to count up seats. Your capacity in there, I don't know if that's a question for you, or it looked like there was 25 to 30 seats. Okay. All right.
It's going to be smaller.
Pardon me?
It's going to be smaller. It's not going to have huge foot traffic, but I'm hoping that because we're going to be offering entertainment, people will stay there for a couple hours and have a good time.
And I guess parking's brought up, and it's definitely an issue. It's probably been an issue, especially in the Riverside Drive area for the last 50 years, off and on. I understand it. It is a downtown area. There's a lot of entertainment. I'm not going to tell you how to run your business, but I would be concerned with those Thursday nights from May through September in regards to, the music in the park right there next to you, where you probably see most of your patrons parking there, and then heading over to your place. So I'm not saying what to do on those nights, but that is a concern of mine. But I do understand that you are it's an entertainment business. We don't have any obligations, or there's no need to have knowledge in regards to how leases work. That's not what we're here for. We're here to decide if the business, we should allow a liquor license and have that business go in. So I totally understand it. I guess just my concern a little bit is at those Thursday nights. And
I was thinking about doing something a little bit different on those nights instead of the piano, since music in the park is that night, doing like an open mic night afterward if people wanted to come in and do like a karaoke style.
Okay. That could be quite interesting.
Right?
Okay. I wish you good luck, and I appreciate you answering my questions.
Thank
you.
Any other questions, comments by council? No? You may have a seat. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to open up for public comment. Is there anyone from the public that makes public comment? Please step up to the podium and state your name and address for public record. You get the middle button, sorry.
Hi, I'm Brooke Huss. I live at 506 Whitmore Trail, McHenry. I just found out about this 30 minutes before your meeting tonight, so I apologize if I'm not as prepared as I would like to be. My child is attending the studio, and in talk with the owner, it seems like she did not know that this was happening. I don't know besides. So I kind of just want to speak on behalf of the mother's perspective, in case this could help with anything. My child is very artistic and is not into sports, and we want her to be involved within our community. So when she was of age to join the studio, we signed her up, and it's a passion that she has had since we signed her up, and she's attended every single week since. McHenry is a place that I absolutely love to live. I've been in the area for over 10 years now, and when I talk to my friends and family about where I live, they love how it is not only family-centered, but then there's also the fun that McHenry brings. So I just wanted to voice that if we are able to vote on keeping the studio there, it is doing wonders for our youth. Our youth need a safe place. Our youth need an outlet, and we don't have a lot of those places for our more artistic children. We have a lot that deal with sports, but we need a safe haven, a place where our kids that want to express themselves differently have a place that they can go to and grow up. My child is only 8 years old, and she's constantly wondering like the routes that she'll take when she gets older. She talks about you, Wayne, all the time because she took a field trip and she met you, and she just thinks you do great things for the community. And so she's also asked, like, what can I do? How can I be a part of the community but have that artistic route? And we've talked many times about how she could go to the arts, maybe have a studio like Miss Lucy one day. So again, I don't know both sides. I just found out 30 minutes prior to this meeting, but I wanted to be the voice of her. She's a very sad girl right now, and I just wanted to do my motherly duties.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Anyone else like to make a public comment regarding this item? Sure, absolutely.
I am not specifically asking to move into that building this evening. I'm asking to obtain a liquor license so I can pursue this journey that I have to open up a business in McHenry. I'm not trying to take any business out of McHenry. I'm trying to add to it. That conversation is between a landlord and their tenant. All I did was ask a landlord if they had any availability, and they do not have a long-term lease. That was all I was aware of, and why that is, I don't know. But if there is a different space that's available that will also work, definitely open for that as well.
Thank you, Jessica. Okay. Any other discussion by City Council? Questions? Alderman McClatchy?
Thank you, Mayor. So her comments say that she might look for another place. Is this liquor license tied to that address?
Yes.
That's what it...
All right. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Strack?
Yes.
Alderman Glab?
Yes.
Alderman Santee?
Yes.
Alderman McClatchy?
No.
Alderwoman Batty?
Yes.
Alderman Cook? Alderwoman Miller?
Yes.
Thank you, Council. Congratulations, Jessica. All right, moving on to 8B, this is the Class A liquor license to Toast and Roast, 1250 North Green Street. Looking for a motion to approve a Class A liquor license to Toast and Roast located at 1250 North Green Street, and if approved, pass an ordinance amending Title 4, Chapter 2, Alcoholic Liquor, Section 6, Limitation on Number of Licenses of the McHenry City Code. The applicant is here. Lauren is here this evening, along with her family, and looking for a motion to approve. Alderman Santee?
I'll make the motion to approve a Class A liquor license for Toast and Roast located at 1250 North Green Street as presented.
Thank you. Second, Alderman Strack.
So moved.
Thank you. Discussion by City Council. Alderman, go ahead.
It was nice of the owners to invite us in just to do a quick walkthrough yesterday. It's really going to come a long way from what I have experienced previously, and getting to know these people, because I think you too would agree that since prior to last night, there probably was too much discussion with this side of the board, but I appreciate your time last night, and I wish you guys good luck. And welcome to McHenry.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Alderman McClatchy?
Yeah, I was in attendance last night also, and you guys are really on track to really do something good for McHenry, so thank you. I was just amazed by how much work you've done already and your future plans for going back there. So, good luck.
Any other questions, comments by council? Alderman Miller?
Thank you again for the invite last night. You have transformed the building. I think the venue space is just going to be even more amazing once that opens up with all the other activity that's going on within the walking distance of your back door, basically. I think the opportunities are endless. And as you heard us discuss tonight, you have a tenant behind you for the space. So keep your eyes and ears open. So thank you for the opportunity. And welcome to McHenry.
Any questions, comments by council? Open up for public comment. Lauren, would you like to say anything?
I did tender some information.
Yeah, there you go.
I did tender some information for you guys. I'm hoping that you had a chance to read over that. And I wasn't sure if you guys had any questions further about it, but we're really excited about the space and being part of McHenry. This has been just an absolutely outstanding opportunity for us. I couldn't have felt more welcomed and supported in every possible way. So I just want to thank us all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Any questions? Alderman?
I just want to tell you, Lauren, that I told 15 people today about the Toast Bar, and we're all there.
Oh, wonderful. Good. I'm excited.
So what I'm saying is don't get rid of that part.
Oh, absolutely. It's a name.
All right, any other questions? All right, you may have a seat. Thank you. Before we go to a vote, I just want to say thank you to you and your family. All good things take time. You know, obviously having the paper on the windows and you hear it, I mean, we hear it how many times, like, when is the paper going to come down? You know, it takes time to do things right. So thank you for taking your time and, you know, getting this thing off the ground. So thank you all.
Thank you.
I am looking, clerk, go ahead and call the roll.
Alderman Santi?
Yes.
Alderman Strack?
Yes.
Alderman Glab?
Yes.
Alderman Clatchy?
Yes.
Alderman Massey?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Council. This item is a video game license to Toast and Roast, 1250 North Green Street, pending the approval of Class A liquor license to Toast and Roast. A motion to approve a video gaming license to Toast and Roast located at 1250 North Green Street, and if approved, pass an ordinance amending Title 4, Chapter 6, Video Gaming Terminals, and 4 limitations of establishments and terminals of the McHenry City Code. Looking for a motion. Alderman Strack?
I'd like to make that motion as presented.
Thank you. Second, Alderman Santi?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Discussion by City Council? See none. Open it up for public comment regarding this item. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Strack?
Yes.
Alderman Santi?
Yes.
Alderman Glab?
Yes.
Alderman McClatchy?
Yes.
Alderwoman Massey?
No.
Alderwoman Miller?
Yes.
Thank you, Council. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
When's the paper coming down? Oh, today. All right. That's what I like to hear. That's awesome. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is, and you do not have to stay. You're still present. Yeah, he's like, I'm out. You do not have to stay. 8D is annexing 1709 North Riverside Drive. Looking for a motion to approve an ordinance annexing 1709 North Riverside Drive. Alderman McClatchy?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Second, Alderman Miller.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion by City Council. Alderman Glab.
All I was going to say is basically, when we take in individual lots like this, I don't really see a lot of benefit to the city. But if you look at it in a long range, it's going to be one here, one there, one there, and that's how we're going to live growing up in those certain areas like that. So I know I'll be in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? No public comment. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman McClatchy?
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Strack?
Yes.
Alderwoman Massey?
Yes.
Alderman Glab?
Yes.
Alderman Santi?
Yes.
Thank you, Council. Next item on the agenda is 8E, SB Friedman Contract and Budget Amendment Ordinance. Motion to approve a contract with SB Friedman for TIF alteration and establishment in the amount of $29,860, and 2, approve a budget amendment in the amount of $29,860 from the TIF account 290-00-5110, and motion to approve a contract with SB Friedman for additional TIF consulting in an amount not to exceed $20,000. Director Palarecki.
Thank you, Mayor. So we did have some discussion on this original or the first agreement that we're looking to approve on tonight, that is to re-tip the 1111 Green property. That was discussed at the last meeting. The second agreement that you have before you tonight is an agreement for with consulting from S.P. Friedman to review and analyze the performas that are supplied to city from Shodine to make certain that the line what the ask is. So that is a do not exceed number of $20,000. We're looking for approval of both of those contracts tonight.
Thank you, Ross. Looking for a motion to approve 8E as presented. Alderman Miller?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Second? Alderman Santee?
I will second the motion.
Any discussion by City Council? Alderman McClatchy?
Thank you, Mayor. Shodine, are they contributing at all to this? I know this is just going to benefit them, right? This TIF project, Old City Hall. Okay. Are they chipping in here?
The city, I mean, yes and no. I mean, you can make that argument, but the city is getting 174 public parking spaces within it. So, and you know, however we want to, I'm not arguing in favor of Shodine here, but what will happen is if we say and we ask them to submit some payment for this, or say 50% of it, they're just going to put that in their ask from the TIF. So they're going to get it in the end if you guys approve this project. So yes, as we work towards a redevelopment agreement, I mean, we may not get to the re-TIFing portion if we can't get to that redevelopment agreement, but what Shodine needs is the assurity that the city council is willing to re-TIF this in order to move forward and continue to spend money, like, because they are spending a lot of money as well.
I know. You know, McHenry is a good product. People are coming here, developers are coming here. It would be just nice to see some of these developers, like Shodine, kind of help out a little bit instead of us, you know, pushing the bill all the time.
So most of what we've done up to this point on our properties that we own benefits the city regardless who the developer is, right? So the environmental work that we're doing, all of that needs to be done before any developer builds on that. So we're basically making site-ready conditions that if Shodine or whoever it is comes in here, they can build quicker. Like the site's ready, environmental is mitigated. This one's a little bit different, yes, because it's a private ownership and it's a deal between Shodine and the private, but we have to be involved because we have to re-TIF. So, I mean, if we don't re-TIF, this project doesn't happen and we don't get the apartments nor the parking stalls that all of the city council agreed to, well, the majority of the city council agreed to 2 weeks ago that we need.
Thank you.
Alderman Gleb?
So that means that a vote for yes means that I'd be willing to accept apartments over there instead of condos?
No.
Sounds like
no.
Apartments.
What you would be willing to do is accept the re-TIF agreement. The development agreement will dictate what goes on that site as far as the building.
Which will come back.
So
what they
condos,
propose.
condos or apartments, it still needs to be TIFed because we need that 23 years.
If he wants to go forward with condos.
Right, whatever he goes forward with.
Really, with whatever goes.
Whatever goes there, correct. So that the re-TIF needs to be done in order for anything to work there. And the main reason for that is the cost of the parking. You know, that's the biggest cost here. And in the city council has said that they want to see the parking.
Are we going to have that money in the TIF right now to be paying this out, considering, we pretty much drained the TIF on our last meeting?
Yeah, we have the $20,000 to pay this now. Both
didn't
the
drain it all away.
$40,000 for both of them to pay it now.
Alderman Bassi?
Just help me understand. Voting yes for this, is this premature since we don't exactly know what the final development is going to be? Do we need to have the final development before we vote on the TIF, or it's the TIF and then final approval of the development?
So, interesting you asked that question. I had a conversation with Dave Patzel today about this, and I also spoke to Dave Cardle. The vote needs to be done to assure Shadeen that the city council is willing to re-TIF this project. If you re-TIF it, he's not going to move forward with any of this project, which means that all engineering, everything stops today, and the project doesn't move forward. This is about a 6 to 9 process, so I am being told by Shadeen that they would like to build as soon as spring of 2025 if the city council can approve a development agreement. So that puts us out a year. So 6 to 9 months to re-TIF is the process it takes to re-TIF. So that puts us right on schedule.
Okay.
There's a point where we can stop too. If negotiations aren't going right, like we can pull the plug on this. Yes, it might cost us dollars, but we can always pull the plug.
So let's just say, for example, Dave comes back. You know, he started out, I think, at 4 levels. Now he's 6 stories. So he comes back and now wants 8. And we're all like, no. Is that the point where we can pull the plug? So even though we don't have a final development agreement, we can still, and we don't even know what it's going to look like, really. We have an idea.
We're close, very close. The development agreement he has, there's some red lines that he's going through with his attorney. It hasn't been sent over to us yet, but we're getting close to that development agreement. I understand your concern. I mean, I voiced the same concern today, and the answer that I got was, that we need to move forward with this so that we're ready to put the shovel on the ground. We can't wait until August of 2025 to get this thing re-TIFed. So I guess that's the answer.
Okay.
6 to 9 months out. I want to build in spring of 2025.
But we still have not approved the final design.
No, nothing. Correct. You guys have not approved anything.
That'll all come back.
6 stories is way too high considering across the street is 4. So, okay. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Alderman Strack?
So I think what we're losing sight of is the money that we're spending, whether it's this project or another project. We know that site is going to get redeveloped. And if we're looking at the TIF as a whole or re-TIFing that area, we as a city need some verification that that math makes sense. And so, yes, we're spending money kind of putting that $30,000 out front, but whether it's this development or another development, we need to know that prospectus that we've been given is actually a legitimate prospectus, and this is the way to do that. Moving forward, we're going to be doing more of these as things happen and start looking at the TIF as a whole and what we're going to be doing in the future. We need this relationship to get those numbers verified. Us guessing at what that math is looking like and taking that for a developer with no review process, to me, doesn't make any sense. We need to have a review process to make sure that a third party is reviewing it. Thank you.
Alderman Miller?
I had another perspective that dawned on me during the process, the review. We have a private seller who is very real estate savvy. We have a private developer that obviously not his first rodeo, and they're asking for our partnership in carving out this project, committing to this project via re-TIFing that rectangle-ish piece of ground. And I think it behooves us to do that to satisfy our seller, who is a longtime resident of McHenry and a multi-property investor, and a developer who's expressed more than one interest in our community. So I support the request on both parts of the request to do the re-TIFing and obviously have additional funds available for consulting.
Thank you. Alderman Bessie?
Just a real quick question. Is this particular TIF tied to Shadeen? Or let's say, okay, thank you.
If I could just add to that real quick. So that I wanted to actually mention that. So if it falls apart with Shadeen, which, I mean, the potential's there, right? If something could happen, it could fall apart. And we have this re-TIFed for 23 years. If we do an RFP we will get a developer that wants to come to McHenry. So it may not be your 2 stories of parking and your 4 stories of, it may be something smaller, but if you have 23 years on a TIF available to you, you'll have someone knocking on your door.
I can't speak for the seller because he's not here, but I think many of us have seen his vision for that piece of property. And to Director Palarecki's point, if not Shodine, I think he already has the plan drawn for what his vision might be. And if we provide an opportunity that the TIF presents, I think somebody else would jump all over Ned's vision of 1111, but that's just my opinion.
Alderman Glad?
Yeah, his original very version was condos, I can tell you that. It wasn't apartments. And he's not a longtime resident of the city of McHenry. He doesn't live in the city of McHenry, right outside. He does invest a lot into the city, yeah, granted. However, my question is do we need a double parking garage there? As other areas are developed down on Green Street, wouldn't it be a lot more satisfying to see more parking garages like that down the street as that area gets redeveloped? I mean, people tend to not want to use those parking garages when they're multi-level. When it's nice and fast and easy, in and out, yes. But when they have to go up, nah. And I'm talking everybody, you know, a percentage. And it's more than just a tiny percentage, but it's, what, maybe 18,
This is a single. You enter one level on Waukegan, and you enter one level on Green, and there's no ramps.
Okay, so there's no ramps.
So it's fast.
And we do plan on providing parking on other areas if we can get other areas developed. I mean, you're going to have similar asks in front of you in the future.
So you're asking for more different tips.
That's the idea of it.
Okay. Well, then the developer should be paying for the change in the tips if they're the ones that are going to reap the benefits of this more than anything else.
That could be a discussion during the redevelopment agreement.
Right.
I mean, that could be definitely in conversation with them. Also, you got to remember, the pricing, you know, and I don't want to get off topic here, but parking garages, it's about $25,000 roughly, $35,000 a spot, and we paid about $26,000 a spot on flat surface. So, you know, it is more, but you're going up and you're not getting that parking laid out, taking up so much square footage flat. So, you know, we could provide that information.
Right, and I think the parking is important, Mayor, and you got to look at it this way too. We've got one chance to get this right, and I'm not saying that, you know, we should do it, but if we want to become that entertainment district, if that's what the city council wants, 10 years down the road, when you're looking at that building and saying, wow, we should put in a parking deck on that. They're tough decisions you guys have to make. I'm just giving you my input on it.
I mean,
Tonight is, we talk about.
That's it.
The TIF, that's it. We're kind of getting off topic here.
We are a little bit.
Right.
But, all right? You're good? Okay. So looking, I got a motion. Call the roll.
Alderwoman Miller,
Yes.
Alderman Santi,
Yes.
Alderman Glad,
Yes.
Alderman McClatchy.
No.
Alderwoman Bessie,
Yes.
Alderman Strack,
Yes.
so moved.
All right, thank you, Council. Alderman Strack. I have no, any staff reports? Additional staff reports this evening? Any? No?
Got one.
Oh.
So the long and awaited courthouse, it should be open by our next meeting. It's a big one.
Hey. All right. That was fast. No mayor's city council comments? Alderman Glad?
Yeah, just thinking about the petition on the fireworks. You can keep us abreast on that, and possibly, I don't know if the council needs to have it on an agenda, maybe at the next meeting or whatever, rather than keeping this gentleman, out there. But we need to know where it's going, and if we can go forward with it, or maybe we need to have a discussion with it, bring it forward, and we'll have the discussion and vote on it possibly at the next meeting. I don't think there's a lot of research we have to do for it. So. All right. Any other? Alderman Streck, go ahead.
I just want to mention to the rest of the council, I did have a chat with Suzanne tonight about we now have an up and running dispensary. Also reached out to Carolyn about have we earmarked where the funds are going to go. So I'd like to have Suzanne put that on the future agenda for us to talk about kind of what we could earmark those funds for as that time starts to come closer for us. So just wanted the rest of the council aware of that conversation with Suzanne. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Miller.
Thank you, Bridget. I just wanted to thank all of our directors and our public works staff and Parks and Rec for how town is looking. If you look at the next 30 days, our temperatures are supposed to be 5 to 7 to 10 degrees above normal. So as we have events moving up into our schedule, town is going to be crazy. But I just wanted to mention that I see the guys out there. I see them working hard, and I don't want that to go unforgotten. Or forgotten, I meant. So thank you for your extraordinary service, because I know you guys are working hard, and thank you.
Alderman McClatchy.
Yeah, I want to echo on that. Director Hoppen, I drove here down Green Street today, and it's all green, and I'm loving it.
We're in the preparation phase.
Yep.
Great. That's what you'll, the St. Patrick's Day.
The bridge needs to go green. It's still red.
We'll get there.
Alderman Glab, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll also echo kudos to that, but all I hope is somebody didn't jinx us, because I lived the 67 snowstorm. Please, don't jinx us.
Right? Alderman Santi.
We forgot to ask the lady from Toast and Roast, did she announce, or is she tentatively knows her soft opening date?
Go ahead.
She does know her soft opening date. She's asked us not to announce it.
Okay, thank
so
you very much.
If they have to flux one way or another.
But the paper's coming off the windows tonight. That's all we do know.
Came on
Drive by there and see. Any other city council comments? See none? All right. We are not going to go into executive session. We're going to go ahead and go right to 14 and for possible action, for action to opt into a pending lawsuit settlement regarding PFAS. Brandy?
So this came before you previously, and you opted out of the settlement. What happened since that time is that for class actions, there's a fairness hearing. So the fairness hearing for both 3M and DuPont went back before the judge, and the judge basically urged the communities that have opted out to reconsider and opt back in. He basically said the amount of time, this has been going on for 10 years. There's people that have gone bankrupt that would otherwise have paid. This litigation is, I think, 4 years old. So he incurred, and there was only 6.6 nationally, 6.6 of different municipalities that actually opted out. And many of those were the bigger municipalities like LA or Philadelphia. So he had encouraged everyone to go back and see if municipalities would opt back in. They did change some of the language, not on the 3M settlement, but release on the DuPont release. So a couple of the concerns from before, one of the big concerns was it was related to wastewater. Would you be also releasing any wastewater claims that you would have in the future? So they have changed the release language a little bit on that to exclude any wastewater claims. It's not in the 3M release, but all the same things were stated in front of the judge that these are separate claims. So for McHenry, I think that the amount was 157,
It was 172.
172, yeah, 172, 674, and that would be, I think that the attorney's fees were 12% of that.
So we end up with like 151.
All right. So I'm looking for a motion to approve. Alderman McClatchy?
I'll make a motion to approve, but I just got a comment. Why did we opt out?
Because you didn't, I believe, because you didn't know what your potential liability you were facing, and so you didn't know if this amount was going to cover it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I believe also it was based around the fact that we weren't sure what the wastewater side of it was going to be, and that was the bigger concern was if they're going to tie the two of them together, we don't want to be in because we don't really know where we're at wastewater side, and that was a bigger concern, if I remember that right.
Correct.
Alderman Gleb?
So our share would be how much?
We would end up with 151,000
Well,
and some change.
from the email I've read, and the billions of dollars that we were talking, and the amount of municipalities that were supposedly in there at 12,000, I divided that out, and I came out with about $980,000.
It was based on
Size of municipalities?
and your test results, the other
So in other
towns.
words, it's not a complete split.
It's not, it's based on your test results, how many wells you had, there were different.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't for the fact that I looked up PFAS and saw different things besides just wastewater and everything else. I think I would opt to go back in.
All right, I'm getting, I need a second. Alderman Santos?
I'll second the motion. I have a quick question,
Sure,
just
go ahead.
confirmation. So the wastewater side is available for one entity still, right? One side of this? Is that what you're saying?
For 3M, the release language wasn't changed, but they still made it clear on the record before the judge that they were separate. For DuPont, the release language was changed to separate the two.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments by council? Alderman Strack?
Brandy, just to clarify, so without that language changed, we wouldn't have a second claim availability on wastewater. But because they made the revision on the DuPont, we may have an opportunity on wastewater to have a secondary claim on this.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Gleb?
Well, go on.
Yes.
Who was, I'm sorry, I got.
Alderman McClatchy was.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Made the
Alderman
motion.
McClatchy,
Yes.
and then it was Alderman Santee.
That's correct.
Yes.
Alderman Gleb?
Oh, I thought I voted already.
Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Alderwoman Bassey?
Yes.
Alderman Strack?
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller?
Yes.
Thank you, council. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. Alderman Strack?
So moved.
Alderman Bassey?
I second.
Please call the roll.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bassey?
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman McClatchy?
Yes.
Alderman Gleb? Alderman Santee?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.